Okay, in this video I want to talk about generating random numbers. In order to do Monte Carlo simulation, we have to generate random numbers. So we're going to run some experiments, come up with random numbers, and then we're going to graph it. So we're going to run 10 experiments. So what I want to do is I'm going to label them 1 through 10. So I type a 1 right here. I come to this fill function. I want to do it as a series. I want it to be in a column going down. The step value I want to be 1. I want to stop at 10. Click OK. Now you may be thinking it's faster just to do this, 1, 2, and then copy it down. Well, you're right, but if we go much past 10, I don't know the exact number, then that fill function is going to be faster. So random number, I've already set this to be formatted to 3 decimals because I don't want a bunch of decimals. Double click this down, and these are all random numbers between 0 and 1. Now if you press F9 on your keyboard, you'll see new random numbers come up. I can't do that because it messes with the software I have that is recording this. So you can come up here. What I'll have to do is come up here and press enter, and notice all those are different random numbers. Okay, so now I want to use this frequency function to graph things, and the way the frequency function is going to work is I'll have different bins. These bins I'll do in increments of 0.1. And now I'm going to highlight, well, I'll do this the wrong way first. I'm going to do, right here I want to have the frequency. Highlight all of this because I want all the output to come here. And I just type equal frequency, tab. I want to have the data array. This is the data, comma. I want to have the bins array. Now if I hit enter, it just gives me this number, and this is number 1. And what I'm going to do here to get rid of these from being random, so we can look at them and see what's going on, I'm going to go copy, paste special, values, and now they're not going to change. So what's happening is there's one number in here, it's right here, that's less than 0.1, or 0.1 or less I should say. But I want to have the frequency for all of this. So instead of hitting enter, it's Control Shift Enter. So Control Shift Enter fills in all of these at once. Now this is treated as a table, and you can't change one part of this array. So this is an array right here. If I try to type in any number or change one part of it, it won't let me. So I just have to hit escape to get out of that. What's it saying? There are 2 numbers in this list right here that are equal to 0.4 or less, but greater than 0.3. So 0.34 and 0.318. So now I can graph this. I can graph this one of 2 ways. I can highlight both of these. I can come over here to insert an XY scatter graph, and it shows me something like that, which I don't think looks that great. Another thing I can do is I can highlight all of this, and I can insert a column or column graph. It's going to look like that. Now with only 10 observations, this is pretty much meaningless. So what I want to do is give more observations here. So I'm going to say I want to have a fill function. I'm going to do this series. I'm going to go to, let's go to 2000. Click OK. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing here. I want to have a fill function, series, column. I forgot to hit column. I think I kept it in rows. 2000. Click OK. And that fills down. Control down goes to 2000. Control back up. Of course, I want to have the view freeze this top row here. Sorry for the interruption there. So random number. I gotta do this random again. Now if I double click, what happens? It stops where the data stopped. Double click again, it keeps going because it has numbers in the column to the immediate left. So now this frequency, I want to go down not to 11 but to 2001. Control Shift Enter, and now it's going to show me how often these things occur. It should be even, right? Because this is a uniform distribution, so you should have the same values in each one of these. And if I come over here and press enter, or you need to press F9, you can see that is the case. On average, not exactly, but pretty close to it. We're getting almost the same ones every time. Okay, so that is just the random normal distribution. And I'll get rid of this. Delete. I want to get rid of these real quick. Delete. I want to do now, instead of a random distribution, I'm going to have, instead of a uniform distribution between 0 and 1, I want to have the results of a normal distribution. So this is norms inverse rand. And I'm going to copy that down. Now, there's a good explanation for this in your book on page 618 and 619. So read that, and that gives you a good idea of what's going on here. These are draws from a normal distribution with a mean of 0 and a variance of 1. Okay, so I can go from minus 0.4. You know, most of these random numbers are not going to be much less than minus 4. And I'll just go up in increments of 0.5. And so these will be my bins. Let's get that all the way up to 4. So I'll call this bins. And let's get this formatted just to 1, and then we'll call this frequency. And so I want to highlight all of this. Type equal, equal frequency, and when this comes up the FR, I see frequency, I can just do tab. Now the data array is going to be this, and rather than scrolling down, I can do period, control down, comma, and now I need my bins array. So the bins array, period, control down right there. Close the parenthesis, not enter, but control shift enter. And that tells me the frequency with which these things occur. So there's nothing less than 0.4. There are 3 that's less than or equal to 3.5 but greater than 4. Alright, so if I graph this, and I go insert the XY scatter, that looks sort of like a normal distribution, right? Let me get rid of that. That looks just a little bit like a normal distribution, and if you keep pressing F9, you can see how that changes from time to time. It looks like it's skewed to positive a little bit, just by doing that a few times. Here's another thing I can do to check and make sure this is working the way I think it does. I want to have the average. So the average of these numbers, control down, should equal 0. In this case it wasn't, it was close to 0. But if I do this again, do it again, the average is close to 0 every time. If I do the standard deviation should be equal to 1. So start up here at the top, period, control down. And you can see the average and standard deviation there are close to 1, and every time you recalculate you get slightly different numbers, but always close to what it's supposed to be. Okay, so one last thing to graph, just so you can look and see what it looks like. I can go here to the column, put it in a column, and that has sort of the shape of the normal distribution. So that's generating random numbers. That's using the frequency function, graphing and fill. So that's it for today.